Welcome, everyone. So I've been playing Starfield lately, and I think I have a few ideas that might be interesting or that could help in the long run for the game. I been playing it lately. I've been actually been turned around on it lately. I've been enjoying it a lot more, trying to ignore gameplay systems that irritate me or bug me, trying to focus on the good, not treating it like Fallout 4 or Skyrim because that's not what it is. But I think it's not like their other games, but I think it could be more similar to them to keep people more interested and increase the longevity, because there's only so much mods can do, right? So a few of the small things that I thought came to mind right away off the cuff that I thought of were, first one is the intros. So I do not like long intros. The first thing that needs to go is the long ass intros in most of their games. Like what's the first few mods that you usually see on the Nexus? It's skip intro, quick start, it's like the unofficial patch as well, but like the quick start is usually the first one that I look for to get out of that long intro for these games. There should be a built-in skip after the first time that the game recognizes that you've done it. Several other games have seamless, nice intros as well. Like Baldur's Gate 3, it's a short cutscene, and then you get to explore the Nautiloid, then you're on the beach right away. It's not convoluted, there's not exposition, there's a little bit of talking, but it's very interesting and it ties in really well. And I love the cutscenes right off the bat. London, there's a little bit of exposition in the beginning with a talk at the lab, and then you can go off and explore and just head out into the world. It's about, like a couple minutes long, but it's not that bad. Fallout 4 is horrendous because it's so long, you can't skip any of it. Yeah, it just feels like it takes forever. Starfield's the same, but Starfield, I don't think the intro really ends until you finish the lodge. It feels so long, and the onboarding process does not feel good for new players, I think. And here's a funny stat: is for Fallout 4, only like what 25? No, I think it was 25% of people never made it out of the vault. They were in the middle of that intro and they're like, yeah, no, I'm done, and they just quit out, which is really funny. What we honestly need is more New Vegas intros for all games. You tell the like Doc Mitchell you want your build, your stats, whatever you want, then you can just boom, you're out the door and you can do whatever you want. You're gone. I've even done that once. Like I've stepped out the door and I just buggered off and left Prim or Good Springs. Another thing that's really important is exploration. So I've been playing a lot of Fallout London lately, and I feel like falling in love with it. Just seeing so many POIs after playing Starfield for like a month is absolutely mind-boggling. It needs to be more like Fallout London, Fallout 4, and Skyrim. Handcrafted locations and areas, no mass-generated areas, lots of side quests that turn into sprawling dungeons and whatever else. There should be 45 seconds to a minute between locations. If you ever jump into Fallout 4, Skyrim, or Fallout London, you'll notice that right away. There's on your compass, there's a huge amount of points of interest. Whereas in Starfield, you'll see maybe 2 or 3 within the immediate area, and sometimes they're boring, pointless scan points. Like gravity anomaly, or an empty cave with a few ore, one loot pile, and if you're lucky you'll get a ruin with spacers and pirates, but those are all copy repeated areas. You swear that you've seen the inside over and over and over because you have. We probably only needed like 5 to 10 handcrafted full planets. I don't know anyone that actually ran around searching all these empty lifeless moons and actually had fun. There should be a full-length dungeon for the Starborn temples, kind of like how Bleakfold's Barrow is in Skyrim. It shouldn't just be, you zone into the temple, you fly, you touch a few sparkles, and then you fly through the ring, and then you get your powers. I personally don't even think we even needed Starborn powers in the first place. It felt like they were added just because, or to make the gameplay seem more interesting than it was. It could have been done without it and would have made a difference, honestly. Another thing we need to do is have like action and consequence in this game. I'm sorry to compare it to New Vegas so much, but that was like a stellar game. I'm not a fanboy, but I love the systems from that. You should be able to have allies betray you. Like if you make a decision that instead of just having a disapprove or approve, which doesn't do anything at all, like Sarah could walk away because you've decided to con people out of money too much, or whatever, you should be able to have an evil companion without having to kill people too much and kind of like Clover. Like I just want a negative karma companion. It feels like everyone in Constellation is just so, the good guys, and we needed something different there. We should make everyone killable as well. Live in a world where you can do anything and, suffer the consequences from doing that. Like, let's say you kill an NPC, that will lock you out of the quest forever, and that would make sense. If you decide to go on a killing rampage, which I do sometimes, you should be able to take out anyone but children. It's instead of them just like kneeling down on the floor, like you shot me several times, but I might decide to give you a quest later down the road. And also, like, your stats and perks should be reflected more in story choice. When you get arrested for piracy during the Crimson quest line, you should be able to kill anyone and be a pirate. You should be able to shoot your way out of that ship. You should be able to kill the people that like threw you in. And you should, if you choose to make that choice, then you should be stuck with the Crimson Fleet for the rest of the game. Like certain areas should be locked off to you, or like guards will shoot on sight. You can make your home base the Crimson Fleet, add more quests from them too. Make it more static, like see more pirate ships in space around you, especially if you get closer to New Atlantis. They should show up more, and you should be able to call for help. Like, let's say you get ambushed by a bunch of UC, you should be able to call out help from your allies, and they'll show up and help you fight them. Or even maybe one day, like slowly start taking over New Atlantis or something and like piratify it. But that's probably way too much work, I'm thinking of. The settled systems should react to the choices you make. The one questline I actually really liked in this game was the ground pounder one. When you arrive at a facility, and there's two groups. There's the Freestar settlers, or the Freestar, and the UC Navy, and they're banding together to fight a whole bunch of spacers. I really love the questline because it was so different, because you never see both factions in the same place. And they actually send you on more than one quest. I would have loved to see more of Myung. She was a very interesting character for me. Like, they should have expanded on that more. I would have liked to know more about her past and her exploits. Maybe unlock her as a follower, or maybe if you were already in the UC Navy, you would unlock further quests for her and something like that. That would have been really cool. So one controversial thing that I think they can't really do anything about, but I know that loading screens are a huge issue for people and myself personally, but I think they are tied into the engine and the game, and it would be really hard to get rid of them. I think the game is built around them. Like, how you can't seamlessly fly to another planet? Let's say you arrive at the spaceport, you go to your ship, there's a loading screen. You go from your ship, go in your star map, and you travel to a planet. You decide to land on the planet, that's a loading screen. You land on the planet, you get out of your ship, that's a loading screen. Another additional thing regarding reactivity I would really like, Cyberpunk has this, so I would like the NPCs to actually react to your presence. Let's say you shoot your gun off, or you point your gun at a guard, like he should probably pull his gun out, yell at you, tell you to stand down, or just hit you with the butt of his rifle right then and there to tell you to stand down, And let's say you shoot your gun around or point your gun at civilians. They'll either get extremely terrified, they'll put their hands up, or they'll bolt to go and try and grab a guard. And that should be a thing. Because if you do that in this game, it's just they don't do anything. They just stand there like a fly on the wall. And I do miss the banter from earlier games. Like certain NPCs in Skyrim, like the guy about the Cloud District, lots of people will walk around talking banter to you, and I just feel like that's not here as much. It's still there, but there's not really any iconic lines that I've noticed. One thing they did bring over though from Oblivion was banter happening around you that would turn into a quest, which I do kind of like that. Some person will say, oh, I heard about this person in this place, yada yada yada, go check. I wonder if anyone will ever go check this out, and a quest will open up for you to go check that out. It's like a discovery side quest. I like that. Yeah, so I think like if Bethesda can make a few changes, overhaul aspects of the game, I really think we could have a Cyberpunk 2077 2.0 moment. Fallout 76 did get one, and that one is still, well, yeah, I mean, not great, but they're trying. And maybe if they're trying there, they can try on this. You know, because they must know it's not all sunshines and rainbows and daisies. You know, it still needs a lot of work. And seeing how the DLC didn't really get a lot of great reception, I'm wondering if they're going to put more development time in this. But that also takes time away from like Test 6, which I don't know if I want that or not, because I like Elder Scrolls way more than Starfield, obviously. And so like Starfield has the makings to be so much and to do so much. And I just hope things can change for better in the coming years, and that the mod support in the Nexus mods will continue and get better. It seems to be at a slow point right now, but I'm hoping more people will mod there and not on creations. I know that they bought out a bunch of creators to do creations for paid mods, but I will never pay for a mod. So I'm just hoping that we can continue to get support there. So anyways, thank you guys so much for following me. I really appreciate it, watching the video. I'm going to have more of these in the future. I want to do a few more positive ones coming up soon about Starfield that I do like. And so if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time.